Welcome. If you are just joining, welcome to Additional Intelligence. If this is your first time joining, you're welcome. My name is Opeyemi Adesina. I'm the founder and CEO of Additional Assets. And if today is not your first time, definitely you know how we do it. You know the kind of things we say. You joined for a reason, so you're welcome once again. And one thing you want to do before we actually go into today's session is to share the link with as many people as possible. We have a very, very serious business before us this evening, or morning or afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. So we have a very serious business, and you want to invite as many people as possible to actually join us. If you've been learning, I don't think it should be hard for you to invite more people to come and learn. I've been getting a lot of people sending me messages that they've been learning so much. They've been learning a lot from what I share, and it's such a pleasure. And today is not going to be an exception. In fact, today is going to be it's going to be a buffet. We've been having some appetizers all along. Today is going to be a full course meal. So you need to get ready. You need to get set for it. Today we're talking about practical strategies for national wealth. Practical strategies for national wealth. If you've been following me or following Additional Assets for a while, you would know that I prefer, or I love to present the concept of wealth building in a way that is very practical and simple. It's not something far-fetched. It's not something you have to learn a lot of principles and secrets and strategies. Honestly, it is not. It is not. I took my time to listen to a lot of successful people, both one-on-one conversations, both reading their books, both watching their interviews, and I discovered that what they are saying is not that complex. In fact, I think the most important thing the most important thing I get from listening to them is that they are just the biggest action takers on the little things that they know. So, for example, you would hear Tony Enumelu continuously say that he got into UBA with luck. He wasn't qualified for the requirements they announced or they advertised, yet he still applied, went for the interview, and then he managed to get a job. And from there, going to partner with people to actually acquire a bank, you can just wonder, like, what really spurs them? What is their rationale for all these things they do? The same thing when you take your time to actually go to study about countries, developed nations, and you try to make sense of it, you discover that most of the things they do that really transformed their economy, it was not one occultic secret that someone brought from a divine, you would be expecting something that you've never heard of before, only to read it and discover this is more like an open secret. It's something but they just happen to not just execute it, but execute it to the letter. That's the difference. That's what makes the difference. So my goal has always been to really present practical things in a way that you leave my sessions with to-do list. That has always been my goal. You leave my sessions with to-do list. Okay, what's next? What do I do next? And today's session is going to be a lot of learning, right? It's going to be a lot. It has taken me so much effort to really simplify this. You don't want to know. So much effort just for me to be able to simplify this, because, for example, I don't want to start talking about Adam Smith's theory. I don't want to start talking about Maslow hierarchy of needs. I don't start talking about papers, the GI Bill of US, what's it called now, the 1978 Bill of China, and all those things. I really don't want to go into. I don't want to make it complex, right? Even though these are necessary ingredients as we proceed, but I would rather just infer what your own role is, what my own role is, and just talk about that instead of just bamboozling you with all the information, right? There was one of my sessions where I mentioned that we do not need more analysts. we need people that will take action. We need innovators. We need entrepreneurs. We don't need that. When you watch TVs from morning to night, what you keep saying is this analyst, this, and everybody's coming to analyze the problem, making recommendation, analyze the problem, making recommendation. Only very few percent are actually doing something about all the analysis. Very few. Very few. So this session is not to talk about what the government is doing wrong, talk about how bad the economy is. It's not to talk about, no, it's not to analyze the problem. It's actually to point out what we can do to change the narrative. I made mention of something. I was speaking to a few friends, and I said that, you see, the expression of our national wealth. In fact, let's start from here. What is national wealth? Right? What's national wealth? It's simply per capita national products. So, and what does that mean? What is the average person producing? What is the average person contributing? That's what it means. That's what it means. So when you want to measure the national wealth of a nation, you want to look at the proportion or the percentage of the population that are productive. So you cannot tell me a country is backward and exclude yourself as a citizen. So what we are discussing this evening is actually how we, everybody, everyday individuals, can actually take responsibility. The way I see the national cake is that you get a bite if you are one of the chefs. I'll take that again. You want a bite of the national cake, then become one of the chefs. You can't be passive. You are not active politically. You are not doing anything entrepreneurial. All you know how to do is to complain on Facebook. What company has ever changed like that? You see, every country, every nation that we happen to be looking at, I don't want to use the word looking up to, that we happen to be admiring, at one point or the other, had to, should I use the word, undergo a revolution. You can't just continue complaining. There's something I often say. There's something I often say, that I would rather be quiet than point out errors or mistakes that I have no solutions for. I would rather be quiet. When I listen to something, I read something and I don't understand it, and for example now, I was on TVC a few years ago, and I happened to be engaging in a conversation with Mr. Bimbo Manuel, a Nollywood actor. It was a program by Dr. Stephen Akintayo. And the question was, should Boko Haram members be given amnesty? Should they be forgiven? Right? And I was, I had a very, very unique perspective, because I was supporting that Boko Haram members should be pardoned. And at first, when I first said so, a lot of people, oh, that's so unreasonable, that's so this, people can be so emotional. They just respond emotionally. Why would you say someone that killed this amount of people should be this? Why would you say, it's fine, we are emotional beings, but can we look at it logically also? And one of my points, and this is not in any way to condone insecurity or not to be sensitive to the lives, in fact, to make it as practical as possible, I'm a victim of terrorism. So you can't even say, oh, he doesn't know what it is. My dad was killed by terrorists. So you can't even say he's just talking because he has not been there. Let's calm down, right? The question is, the government, do you trust them so much to really do justice to this issue of insecurity? Right? If you do not trust them so much, okay, what's even your guarantee that some of these guys in prison are not being bought out of prison? This is a country that we both know. You know the country, I know the country. Right? So what I recommended was, okay, they should be pardoned, but they should employ an independent organization to be in charge of their reorientation. Because terrorism is an ideology. You need to know that. And why am I saying all these things? It's the fact that a lot of things, we respond to it emotionally. Tinubu is a terrible president. He's a this, he's a that. Why? Because things are expensive. The question is, okay, why are things expensive? What did he do? What should he have done? What should he have done to complement the policies he brought that made things expensive? What even led us into this reality in the first place? In strategy, there's something there's something called what they call it now, situational analysis. That is, you analyze the situation. How did we get here? If you don't know what brought you here, you can't know how to get out of it. The past government was printing money like, no, I'm not even, like I said, I'm not here to talk about, what's going on in the country. I'm here to talk about how everyday individuals can actually take responsibility in a way that it profits you and profits the nation. Because like I said, national wealth simply means the percentage of the population that is productive. So if you are not a productive citizen, you are one of the biggest contributors to our national poverty. You are. So this conversation is not to shift blame, to point fingers, to analyze, to make anybody feel good. No. This conversation is about how do you take responsibility? And we'll be taking cues from model countries, model nations. Right? How did they do it? How did China become one of the largest economies? How did the countries in the Middle East like Dubai, how did they come from being impoverished and just discovering just one thing and turning their economic life around? How did countries like Singapore do it? How did they do it? These are questions we need to ask. How did even the US do it? Regardless of all the conspiracy theories and even the ones that are not conspiracy that are real. Regardless of this is not to say, okay, they are saints, they are this, they are perfect. No. It's the fact that when you compare the economies to ours, they are doing better. You can't deny that. So there's something to learn. It's just like a poor man eating on a rich man. Then you will not be able to learn from that. If they are not doing well, why is everybody relocating there? If they are not a model country, why is everybody running there? Oh, they are exploiting us. They are so bad. They colonized us. They impoverished us. But are you not going there yourself now? No, let's calm down. Let's not respond emotionally. This is not an emotional debate. This is not an emotional debate. This is actually us looking for ways to take responsibility. In order to, you see, I made a post this evening on my social media, and I said that developed countries are solving global problems. Third world countries, go and check it, they are solving personal problems. That's it. And until we can find a bridge between these two things, we'll continue struggling. That's the truth. Because the same way money is a reward for individuals, wealth of a nation is also a reward of how the nation is solving global problems. The fate of American economy first changed when they were able to improve transportation with railways. That was the first breakthrough of their economy. And what did that do? It simply made every city serve the other. So there was exchange of value, exchange of money, means growth, development. People could buy houses, this and that. This is how these things happen. So until we all start looking at it, that, okay, how do we, instead of looking out for, what's it called? Aids and grants and scholarships. We are always thinking about receiving. Okay, now what do we offer them? And the fact is, indirectly, we offer ourselves. Because let's bring it down to basis. There are 4 factors of production. There's land, there's labor, there's capital, there's entrepreneurship. Right? You see, entrepreneurship and labor are the only 2 parts where human element comes in. Once you are not an entrepreneur, you are a labor. So and what does an entrepreneur do? They create value. They innovate stuff, they create value. So once you are not creating value, you will be just a tool to rendering the value created by the entrepreneur. So what am I trying to say? In as much as we are not thinking about how to offer value to them in an objectified manner, we will continue to be the value. Someone said whenever you get anything for free, then check again, you might be the product. You can easily test that with social media. Oh, WhatsApp is free. What are they selling? You. Instagram is free. What are they selling? Your attention. You are the product. They sell your views to people. The same thing. An average Nigerian now, the only way to get rich is to go into tech. then you end up looking for a remote job for a country above. So the only way we know how to create wealth is servitude. We no longer think about creating. We no longer think about exploiting our own resources to actually. And check all these nations that you are looking at. They all have one thing in common: industrialization. Even Singapore, right? This is just me jumping ahead of myself. We are still going to get there and break it down into pieces. Even Singapore, right? They were mostly unskilled. Mostly unskilled. But what changed their fate was when they had to invest heavily in education, technical education, technical. And today they are one of the largest exporters of electronics. China's population is an asset. Our own population is a liability. Why? Because China's population is productive. The Chinese population is productive. So this is the session where we all learn to take responsibility. Who are the governments? Are they not people? I say so. I think it was, I can't remember who said. I think it was Pastor Sam, Reverend Sam Adeyemi, that said so. That will a group of armed robbers, will they choose a policeman as their leader? No. So whoever is in the seat of authority, they are clearly telling us this is who Nigerians are. So what does that mean? Even those of us that are saying, oh, I don't participate in politics, you are part of the problem. Because you keep making, I get, you get the point. You get the point, right? So what are the practical strategies for national wealth building? What are the practical strategies for national wealth building? How do we really build wealth as a nation? And I've mentioned it that national wealth is simply the proportion or the percentage of the population that is productive. What percentage of our population is productive? And the first place you will see that the first problem you see is our unemployment rate. It's our unemployment rate. It's our unemployment rate. That's the first problem. So how do you convert such a large, we are a largely youthful population. And over 30%, only God knows how many percent it is now, but I know well over 30% is unemployed. So how do we get these guys to be productive? And that is why if you follow my session, you will see that I often reiterate that I don't care where you are at the moment. You are a bus conductor, welcome on board. You hawk gala on the streets, welcome on board. You don't even know what to do, welcome on board. And this is not just some sort of motivational stuff. You know, I'm not one of those that associate with poverty so that you can believe my story. If they do, in fact, I have a couple of friends that they've never, what's it called? Let me use put it into context now. They've never really suffered. Right? I have a couple of people like they were born into wealth. Let me just say like that. And when they are talking, I enjoy their conversations more than people that will start telling me of the days that their mother could not feed them or something. I'm not one of those that would like that would, there's nothing glamorous about poverty. Let's not even go there. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm able to say this authoritatively because firstly, I've probably been in your shoes before. Someone commented that what have you not done? And it's the truth. It's the truth. I discovered I was quite book smart when I was in school. It was a business. You are lazy to do your assignment, I'm your guy. You are lazy to do your project, I'm your guy. You are lazy to do my final year. Probably that was why my HOD said I was not going to graduate. I wrote 5 projects and I was also graduating. 5 projects. When I started sending money to my parents when I was in final year, sometimes they think it's a lie. But it's not. So the question, you see, in fact, let's even take it back down, right? What is wealth? It's not money. It's what you can use to produce money whenever you need them, whenever you need it. In fact, this is how, now you can say this is subjective. Wealth is what you have that you can use to produce whatever you need at any point in time. For example, you have a writing skill. So if let's think about it, let's take it to the foundation of the economy, of money, which is trade by barter. If I have yam, you have sugarcane. I need sugarcane, you need yam, we exchange. That's where everything came from. Then, because I might need something else, you need something else, and both of us have what we don't need, that's where the issue of money now comes in. So that, okay, I can sell, even though you don't have what I need, you can give me cowries, you can give me money, then I can use the money to go and buy what I need. It's the same thing with, so what now happens? Your farming skill is your wealth that you can now use to produce what you need. So you need to get clothes. You can use your farming skill to produce them, to exchange with the clothes seller to get clothes. You're a graphic designer, you need to rent an apartment. You can use your graphic design skills to get money to go and rent an apartment. That skill is the wealth. Why do we say assets give you more money? Right? So when we understand this background, I was asking a few people, I was like, what is the foundation of the Nigerian economy? What is this sitting on? What is this sitting on? We can link the US to technological advancement. Right? They rode very well on the what's it called now? On the internet boom and a host of that. We can link the Chinese economy to their mass industrialization. Right? We can link Singapore to, what's it called now? Foreign companies coming to manufacture in their countries. We can really see like what the economy was built on. The question is, what is the Nigerian economy built on? What is it built on? And this will lead me to the first thing, the first practical strategy that I'm going to be talking about this evening. Practical strategy. And what I call it, I wrote that we need aggressive entrepreneurs. Enough of all this, I just want to sell something to eat. You see, you will not even create wealth for yourself that way, not to talk of even contributing to national wealth that way, because your thinking is already limited. Oh, I just want to ball. Oh, I just want to no. Aggressive entrepreneurs that are thinking nationally, thinking globally, that are thinking on a grand scale. And people who will not say the government are not producing this, no, they will rather counter the government, do whatever it takes with the government to ensure that they do what is right. Every now and then you see all these entrepreneurs in court. I was telling someone, I think when I just started and I had certain issues with some of my partners. And I was telling a friend, I said, even before I ever got into entrepreneurship, I used to fantasize about having court cases with the government. It was a fantasy that one day, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just telling you how I imagine things. That one day, they would announce in court that this case is between Adesina and the federal government of Nigeria. It was just a fantasy for me that the fact that I can do something that the government will say, no, we have something against you. And not for crime, right? No, not for crime. It can come if Facebook is currently in court for a lot of regulations, the same with TikTok, and it can be even this what later became ExxonMobil and the like, Standard Oil. It was the US government that broke it down. But we need aggressive entrepreneurs. See, enough of this copycat entrepreneur. Someone builds app that can send money. You rush to go and build app that can send money. It's fine. That's a good starting point. But we need people that would really, you see, like I said, I'm not saying that you just pick anything. No. And this is where I also believe education comes in. Right? Whereby several people with several interests pick that interest and with their vision scale it to address certain sector of the economy, and they go aggressively at it, not allowing any challenge to stop them. There's an infrastructure that the government is supposed to do that they're not doing, that is inhibiting you. Call them out, sue them. This country does not belong to the government, they belong to us. And until we need to start taking the responsibility to actually, doing something about it. This is not motivation. This is just a reality. You want to create wealth for yourself, and in turn, you don't even have to care about Nigeria. That's where it gets interesting. This is not about you being patriotic. Nah. I'm not trying to bamboozle you with any patriotic something. Nah, this is not about being patriotic. This is not about being patriotic. This is not about being patriotic. This is just about you doing something tangible. Doing something tangible. Doing something meaningful. Everybody that wants to sell thrift, in fact, someone sent me a screenshot that, do you know what they call thrift at custom? I think something rag. That's what they call it. It was just a joke, right? That's just a joke, by the way. So what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say is that we need more entrepreneurs, aggressive ones that will look at textile. What is the problem of the textile industry in Nigeria? What do we have that we are not exploiting? And you know the funniest thing, such entrepreneurs can't even do it alone. So they look out for like 5 other fashion entrepreneurs that are crazy like them, and they form an alliance, and they become a formidable bond. When I see young people in real estate and they're just trying to do the bare minimum and just make money, I believe everybody has their individual vision, right? Honestly, I do. But every time I keep thinking, real estate can be more than this. Real estate can power the economy. It can power the economy. I've studied time and time again. Go and read about Ivory City. Go and read about what related company is doing. Read about what Trump Tower did. It can power the economy. Real estate is the bedrock of the financial of finance, because it's the tangible asset. It's too powerful than just to be relegated to come and sack your landlord. It's too powerful than that. It's too powerful than that. The bare minimum in real estate is to sell land. That's the bare minimum. That's the least thing. Land retailing. Okay, I bought this land, I am reselling it to you. That's the bare minimum. I mean, what societal development are you tying to that your project? What infrastructural development are you tying to that your project? I tell myself every time that real estate investors are the people who build what everybody complains about. Look at what Ned Okonkwo is doing with Victoria Crest in Lagos. They tar an entire road. That's real estate investing. That's real estate investing. Look at what Popul is doing with the mixed-use project, mall, and all those things. That's real estate development. That's real estate investing. That's real estate. I believe Sujimoto is going to be one strange hub of tourism in the years to come. That is real estate. Enough of this sack your landlord nonsense. Can we drive what we are doing to core national development? To core national development. Can we truly solve a problem and not just want to eat? Because guess what? When you truly solve a problem, this is one of the things I tell myself. For example, if you are still at the point where you need 100K, all you need to do is to get valuable. You will get so valuable that it will be an insult for you to need 100,000 naira. Get valuable that it becomes impossible for you to be broke. Impossible. When I say impossible, I mean it. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a level of problem you solve. Survival can never be your headache. What will I eat? What will I wear? Nah. Can never. There's a level of problem you solve that it can never. It's just more like once you solve this problem, automatically you've ascended to a certain level. We have our almost 20-hectare project, Adesina Economic City. It's going to be a chain. One tied to agriculture, this one tied to another sector, this one tied to another sector. Strange partnership. That's what I understand as real estate. We can't have 5 economic cities in this country, and our production would still no. You are unemployed? Don't worry. I can confidently tell you that don't worry. Additional economic city is coming. Whatever it is you do, you make clothes, you make shoes, you sell food. Whatever it is, how do I scale this to solve a core problem? How do I create a signature dish that it cannot become? Just imagine, what farm produce, what food do we produce in Nigeria? Let's just say, I'm trying to think. Let me just use fufu. Let's just cassava, right? Let's just say you created a dish that made fufu a nationwide snack, and I'm taking cues from the likes of McDonald's. Do you know what McDonald's does for the farming of Irish potatoes anywhere they find themselves? That's when you are building remarkable food businesses. That you being in a place alone is already affecting the agricultural produce in that land. So there are people working on the farm just to make sure they are able to supply the number of potatoes you need for your chips. Think big. We need aggressive entrepreneurs, aggressive ones. The Chinese economy took a very, in fact, they call it the Chinese miracle, the Chinese economic miracle. That's what they call it. That's what they call it. They call it the Chinese economic miracle. In 1978, when they opened for foreign investors, they gave entrepreneurs permission to own businesses. They started privatizing a lot of state-owned industries. And then they started lifting off price controls. They gave entrepreneurs, do your thing. There's no job for you. Good. What can you create? Because that's the side that Nigeria needs you. What can you create? A lot of people send me messages every day. Oh, I need you to help me. Oh, I need you to help me. Oh, I need you to. Well, a guy sent me a message. Sir, I'm into shoemaking. Send me pictures. I had to ask him again. Did you do this? He said yes. Send me more. I said, where do you live? He said, Ibadan. You have a store? No, I do it from my house. I said, wow. The only difference between what he makes and aristocrat luxury is the aristocrat luxury logo. That's how good. And if I tell you something is good, trust me, it is good. Because I have taste. He didn't have to convince me much. I've seen the product. So definitely we had conversations. One of our goals for this year is that by the second half of this year, we are going to launch a private fund to do some equity financing in some export-oriented small businesses, targeting at least 100 million fund. That's by June. Export-oriented. Export-oriented. You see, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about entrepreneurship. Don't just have one store, one place, and no. I say something that the only thing I have against the Igbo man entrepreneurship way, or most of it, don't let me generalize it, is that firstly, most of them is largely import dependent, and then secondly, is not scale oriented. They don't know how to. It's not always. You rarely see anyone that scaled, like having multiple places, scale internationally, scale. It's not scale oriented and is often import dependent. There are some who does, and don't get me wrong, but most don't. But aggressive entrepreneurs, they want to see it all over the country. They want to see it all over the continent. They want to see what they are doing all over the world. Don't just build payment gateways for Africans alone. I get, you start from somewhere. I get it. But are you making moves to scale? We need a you see, well, I'm not I have certain things that I would have loved to say to the government. For example, one of the things Singapore did to welcome foreign direct investment was to create a safe and what's it called now? Corruption-free environment. For example, in Singapore, even as an individual, once they catch you in any corrupt practices, they don't take you to court. It's death, straight up. They don't we are doing the court process. They don't have that time. You steal money, death. You did money laundry, death is death. And which is why meritocracy is there. It's by merit. It's by merit. It's by merit. Welcome to my country where you can buy jobs when you have money. But number one, I don't lament at what I don't have control over. I don't. I do not. I would rather ask myself, what do I do? What role do I play? Firstly, as you cannot be political apathy. You are apathetic, or how did they put it? Number two, don't allow any you see, there's a way. One of the things that helped the American economy is labor unions. We have them in Nigeria, but most of them have also been silenced by some, even they are even more, somehow more corrupt than the government themselves. When labor unions, entrepreneurs in the same field who would come together to fight certain government policies. But will you even see the policy when all you want to do is just eat and complain on TikTok? How will you come together? How will you come together? And they will not bribe one of your leaders. And they will not give him one contract. And he'll just come and say, it's not that bad, not that bad. Aggressive entrepreneurs, aggressive ones. Aggressive ones. Even after foreign direct investment in Singapore, they still had to start training their people in technical education. That made them one of the largest exporter of electronics. It is always going to be I posted something. I said, Nigeria will be great again. A lie. We will make Nigeria great again. Yes. You're not going to fold down and just wait and so miraculously it's just going to happen. Is a lie. Like I said, this is not some patriotic thing. All I'm just teaching you is that you want a share of this national cake, be one of the chefs. Be one of the chefs. Regardless of how you shouted, you are not getting a kobo out of the $4 million that was paid to Super Eagles. Regardless of how your BP went up yesterday, you are not getting a kobo because you were not on the pitch. You want a share of our national cake, not to steal it legally. Be one of the chefs. Be one of those who will bake the cake, who will cook the cake. Be one of the entrepreneurs. See, you get to a point in your entrepreneurial pursuits. You see, one of the concepts I love so much when I was in school that was discussed is the concept of political economy. And why do I love the concept of political economy? Is the way they are intertwined. There's a level at which you have economic power that you cannot be politically what's it called now? You cannot be politically neutral or politically invisible. No. When Tinubu entered, did he not pay courtesy visits to Tony Numelu? Have you not been seeing Dangote frequently visiting Aso Rock? There's a level of economic power you wield. You cannot be politically neutral. You have to get involved. And what does that do? It affords you the opportunity to also now be a part of the decision maker. Those are the entrepreneurs I'm talking about. Not someone that just want to prove to somebody that he or she made it. That's why, as a company, our goal is not so that you can own a land. Our goal is not so that you can sack your landlord. It's so that you start building a portfolio of rental properties, such that you get to a point where you have 9 figures coming in from your properties, that you can afford to become an angel investor and start financing businesses. And not as charity, is also a way to start owning businesses, and that's also a way to multiply your wealth. You see how these things, like I said, this thing is a reward. You solve, you offer value, it comes back to you. It comes back. These are the entrepreneurs we're talking about. I'm not even sure we'll be able to talk more than leave this one. Probably this will become a series. These are the entrepreneurs we're talking about. Partner. Instead of you, I'm a photographer. Oh, I'm a content writer. Oh, I'm a model. Oh, I do fashion. Oh, I do jewelry. I do beads. I do and leather works. Why not come together and become a creative house? Get a lawyer to draft an agreement for you. Become a creative house and start producing creative materials with a vision. And let's start exporting luxury fashion items also from Nigeria. Go to Kano, go and find out where they make leathers. And think, don't just buy the imported ones. Don't just see. One thing an aggressive entrepreneur will do is that you want to almost have all the elements in your production undercover. You want to be able to be the one to produce the leather, be the one to fine-tune the leather, be the one to turn the leather into bag, be the one. You become a man. This is where I'll wrap up. Right, this is where I'll wrap up. One thing that you need to do as an aggressive entrepreneur is that start thinking on an industrial scale. Let every of your thoughts be on an industrial scale. Every of your thoughts be industrial scale. Because you might argue, but Nigeria is known as the giant of Africa. We set model precedents. And like I said, this is not one patriotic session. Dangote is the richest man in Africa, the richest black man on earth. You can argue because he's one of the biggest chefs in the African continental cake. Do you know the people his company is employing? You know what product is supplying? When you think on a scale, you are not even easily satisfied. Oh, you open an office space. I might say don't celebrate your little wins. Of course, yes. But you cannot be easily satisfied. You cannot be easily satisfied. Because you know where you're going is still far. We need aggressive entrepreneurs. Aggressive ones. the jury puts what's his name, Rockefeller, in his old age. You have done this, you have done this, you have done that. What do you have to say? He said it's funny that the company, this is me paraphrasing, the same company that you are now calling now different names, trying to break down, you know, calling me evil, was the same company who employed millions of thousands of Americans when the government failed to employ them. The same company who paid this amount of money in taxes. The same company who was able to pioneer, who was able to put light in several homes when the government couldn't. The same company, he started listing what the company has done. Not at that point, it was not how the company made me rich. It was what the company has done for the nation and thousands of other people. Aggressive entrepreneurship. You cannot go this way. See, there's a way you talk about money that is a sign that you are poor. There's a way you post about money as a sign that you are poor. In fact, most wealthy people, they don't talk money. They don't talk money. You need to go and read the book. This is a recommendation, by the way. Trump, The Art of the Deal. They don't talk money. They talk deals. They talk value. They talk offers. Trump will just look over his window and see a particular community center deserted. And he'll say, and this place should not be like this. Let's develop it. Developing it to in the business world now means buying it. But for him to develop it and keep it developed, buying it, then putting a gate fee at the entrance, that's business. So you see how solving a problem, automatically, there's a way you think that you cannot be poor. And I'm saying this because large percentage of us are from humble beginnings. And this is the route. Probably you need to go and read the book by Jimovia. What's the name? Africa Rise and Shine. That's another very interesting book. Africa Rise and Shine by Jimovia. Or go and read Slot, The Entrepreneurial Way by Kennedy or something. What's his name again? Slot, The Entrepreneurial Way. Yeah, Nnamdi Ezekbo. He saw the entrance of telecommunications in Nigeria. He was not just thinking about, let me buy a phone. No. Brought in Infinix and Itel to the market. Go and read Slot, The Entrepreneurial Way, Africa Rise and Shine. Go and read Trump, The Art of the Deal. These are book recommendations. You need to change your thinking. Don't think like a parasite. I just want to take my own. No. Be part of those. Cook. Thank God we have a man channel. Let him cook. Yes, now it's time to go and cook. Now it's time to go and cook. Don't listen to people who just communicate smallness to everything you are doing. There are a lot of people who I know who think I should patronize them, but I will never patronize them. Why? Because the way they do what they do, everything is communicating smallness. And I don't associate with such. Call it pride. Think. When you think this way, you will not be, see, you will be at the table. You will be at the table. When you hear the likes of something finance sector reforms, you see them calling MD of banks. Do they call you? Do they call your daddy? No, because you guys don't contribute nothing. You see, they're talking about cultural reforms. You see them calling the CEO of Farm Crowdy. That is it. Once you are really doing something, contributing, they will have to call you to come and be a part of the policy. Then you now have a say as to the direction of everything you're complaining about. Instead of complaining, get to work. That your sector, leather, food, what's it called? Fashion, entertainment, real estate, finance, get to work. Get to work. See, right now, all you can do is shout on TikTok. But there's a level you get to that your words now count. That when you see anything, the government is obligated to respond. Then you can hold the government accountable, not when you are still thinking of how to feed. You are just thinking of the profit margin so that you can go to Rwanda for holiday. Come on, think bigger. Think bigger. There's a level you grow your business to. Your opinion is a dread to the government. When you are being interviewed, they are watching. The likes of what's his name now? I don't know if I should mention his name. The government release a particular, probably some financial instruments. If he goes on TV to say it is dead, it is this, nobody should. He does not think it's a nice. He does not. People are not going to do anything about it because it's now an authority. People say they give Dangote monopoly. Am I saying they are not giving him relaxed? And yes, but are you contributing as much as he is to the GDP of this country? Now the problem is now when they are giving him a leverage that is not allowing new people to rise. And guess what? Even that don't just complain. You guys form an alliance and counter it. You are not going to allow monopoly when there's a free market for everybody to thrive. That's why forever I love what COE does. The entrepreneurship fund. But that money is still subject to the mind of the person that is holding it. I was reading something about Abatigwe of blessed memory. Such a painful one. One of his friends wrote that to Abat, one bank is never enough. It has to be several banks. I said, this is the Nigerian dream. This should be the Nigerian dream. Some people's life should be our national anthem. It should be our national pledge. Their lives. How come you open a store and then suddenly you are done? Someone said not everybody is born to become an entrepreneur. Not everybody we found, but everybody should own at least a piece of multiple companies. Just don't become an employee and just stay there. No. What happens when you retire? What happens when you can't work anymore? Own multiple companies. That's called business ownership. Own multiple businesses. Let's stop pampering all in the name of... I believe entrepreneurship is a transition phase. It's either it transition you to a level where you become a co-owner in that firm, or it transition you to a level where you go and found your own company. If you cannot see a future in that company you are working, where you become a co-owner that is owning shares of that company, that's not your destination. Being a mere employee is a transition phase. Everybody should own. That's how to think, even as an employee. So what now happens, in as much as you're now thinking as a co-owner, because now you know you want to own a share, now you are thinking differently. You're not thinking as an employee. You are thinking, this is our firm. How do we make this firm go forward? How do we scale what we are doing? How do we make it better? You see how employees do, and check it. Those employees are the ones who rise through the ladders fast. Those are the ones, not the ones waiting for salary to salary. Because those ones now know that for us to get this kind of business as a company, this is who I need to be even to this company. I need to improve in myself. I need to go for my MBA. I need to do this. I need to do that so I can become more valuable. They are the one you call doing eye service or doing too much at work. Because they are the ones who really have a vision, have a future in that firm. There was a firm I was working, I was like, this is how I've always thought. You know, for me, even before I started founding businesses, when I get to any firm, the question is, what's the highest thing I can become here? That's the first question of my mind. Once I can answer it and it doesn't look like the picture I'm painting, I'm out. I'm out. Unless I have something to learn and then I learn it and I leave. Being just an employee is meant to be a transition phase. If it doesn't transition you to becoming a co-owner of that company, it should transition you to go and found your own or go and own another one. Don't just say some people will be employees. It's a lie. Can't be employee, just can't be a mere employee for life. Can't be. So this is where we'll stop today. Next week we'll continue part 2 because we are just scratching the surface. You can see this today is not blame game. This is not, nah. That's why you cannot see me using some cheesy lines to sell my real estate project to you. No. No. Someone said, how many projects do you have? I said just one for now that is selling. We've suspended sales on Adesina Economic City. This one that is selling, until we sell out all the 25 units property we are selling from them. Once we now sell it out, then we move on to the next one, because now we know that this one is now in motion for development and all investors are now. So we have a property management team dedicated to handling that one, making money for investors monthly and every month and every year. Then we launch another one. That's why what we have in Nigeria now is estate of gatehouse and fencing. That's all. And price increment every month or no value added at all. This mediocre way of doing business must die. If we really want to, because Nigeria is not just, you see, let me ask you, you want to travel, you want to Jackpa, all right, no problem. But for those of us who really want to amount to much, right, the richest black man on earth is in Africa. He's not in UK. So the greener pasture has not created, right, the greener pastures has not created the richest black man. The richest black man had to be on the African soil. Am I saying don't leave? Of course. Get my point. Has Dangote never left the country? Who knows the degree he has outside the country? No, get my point. I'm saying the wealth is here. Dr. Lumide Emmanuel will say a lizard in Nigeria will not become an alligator in the UK. Most of the things people even use to judge success is only success to the average person. But that's conversation for another day. Today, let's just end it at become an aggressive entrepreneur. Wild vision. This one is not big. Wild one. Every time you see whatever anybody is doing in that sector that is irritating, you get angry and get back to work. You can't do that and remain small. It's impossible. It's impossible. This is the surest way to build wealth. It's not by buying real estate. This one I just said is the surest way to build wealth. Surest. It's not by owning land. Am I saying don't buy land? Please, I have lands for sale. But this one is the surest way. When people DM me, it's not just DM me about I want to buy land. No, they are texting me from a perspective of this is why I love the company we are building. You come to us, it is what are you trying to build? And then we give you recommendations. And then the recommendation is a strategy of acquire this property to flip to acquire this property until that's why everywhere you see our stream, then you see the goal there. The goal we have for you even before you come. Build 9-figure passive income with Adesina. That's the goal. You have to build that 9-figure passive income. That is January to December, you should be earning at least 100 million naira in passive income without you working from your rental properties. From there, it is very easy for you to finance businesses. That's the goal. Guys, this is what we'll be wrapping up today. I hope you've learned. And if you've learned so much, don't just share the link with as many people as you know. Startup entrepreneurs, young people trying to do something. Tell them to watch this. Tell them to watch this. Watch it. If you need to come back to work from the beginning again, please do that. Right? We will cook our national cake by ourselves and we will grab our share by ourselves. We won't, all this, they are eating national cake. You to join them. Be a part of the chef. Be a part of the chef. Be a part. So I'll see you again next week, Monday, 5 p.m. West African time. Have an amazing day ahead.